What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and today's guest will be fighting Mackenzie Dern at UFC 273 on April 9th. I am pleased today to be joined by the number 7 strawweight contender in the world, Tecia Torres, joining me here today. Tecia, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. I know we spoke before your last fight, too. I always appreciate you making the time for these.
Thank you for having me on, John. I'm excited about this fight, and I'm ready to give the fans the fight they're hoping to have.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one to watch, that's for sure. And I do want to back up actually to after your last fight against Angela Hill. You were pretty clear, right? You wanted a top 5 opponent. You were pretty adamant with that. How were the negotiations for this fight? Was the UFC pretty cool with it and made it happen? 1, 2, 3, got you a top 5 opponent? Did you kind of have to negotiate and go back and forth and kind of bug them a little bit that you want that top 5 opponent?
No, actually, they originally offered me Jan back in December. And I said yes right away. And then Jan said no. She was moving to the States. Maybe it was before December, I'm not sure. But I think December, she was moving to the States, so she said no. And then I saw she booked her fight with Marina. And then they offered me Mackenzie, so I said yes as well. I just really want a top 5 fight. I would have loved to fight with Jan, but it didn't happen. So it was pretty easy.
I say, I'm sure you have to be pretty cool with Mackenzie too, getting that fight because she's obviously a big named opponent and obviously ranked in that top five spot there. So just how excited are you to be fighting Mackenzie and of course be getting back into the top 5 picture here because you were in a spot in your career at one point where you fought the best of the best, like a champion after champion, right? Jessica Andrade, Joanna and Jacek, Wei Li Zhang, and all of a sudden after those 3 fights that you kind of had back to back to back. The UFC dropped you down in the rankings, then you kind of had to work your way back up to get to this point. So just how excited are you to be back into this opportunity here?
I'm very excited for the opportunity to fight Mackenzie. She's a tough opponent, and I really do want that top 5 spot. I'm inching my way to the top. I feel like I'm on a run right now, and I look forward to making it all the way there.
And of course, now we're only a few days away from the fight here. So just how's your body feeling? How's camp going now as you kind of put the final touches on your training camp here?
Yeah, pretty much what you just said, putting the final touches on it. My body is ready to fight. It's been working hard. I've known about this fight for 3 months now, so I've had more than enough time to prepare. I'm just ready to go in there and showcase my skills.
And Mackenzie, of course, is a fan favorite, very well known, of course, from back in the grappling days before she ever came over to the UFC. Just your thoughts on her as an opponent, and have you followed her career throughout her whole time here? Because I remember when she first came into the UFC, it was like such a big deal from her high level grappling skills that she had there, and ever since she's been in the UFC too, it's always been like a really big to do since she's been fighting.
Any girl in my division, once they enter it, I follow their career. I watch all the fights. I enjoy it as a fan, as well as seeing, who a potential opponent could be in the future. So yeah, I've watched her fights. She's a tough opponent. Of course, she has her grappling skills. That's what she's known for. But I'm not looking past her in any arena of the fight.
Now, I have to ask, is there any bad blood here? Because now the last time I interviewed you before Angela Hill, I thought everything was all, cool in the gang before the fight there. And then when you guys had your press conference, there was that back and forth there, a little heated exchange. And I was like, where did that come from? I wasn't expecting that. Is there any surprises here that we should know about?
No, not at all. I don't have anything bad to say about Mackenzie.
Yeah, Mackenzie's a very nice person too, and two great personalities too, going to be fighting here. So I'm looking forward to it, just like all the fans are. And I want to get your thoughts on kind of like the landscape of this division now, because you guys are entering this fight, right? She's ranked 5th, you're ranked 7th. Obviously, a win's going to get you into the top 5, but it seems like the top of the strawweight division right now. I mean, great time to be a fan, right? Watching this because you guys have so many great matchups there, but it's kind of log jammed, I would say, to a degree, right? You have Rose fighting Carla coming up here. There's the rumor of Wei Li Zhang, Ioane, and Jacek Part 2 out there. Of course, Marina Rodriguez is on a great roll right now. I mean, the top 5 seems really like log jammed at the moment. Just your thoughts on the division right now, and if you get a win, where it kind of puts you in the mix of things here.
Yeah, the top 15, top 5, 7 of the strawweight division has always been very stacked. I feel like it's the most diverse division in that like the champion can change at any moment. We don't have like this solid dominant champion right now. Rose is amazing, but it's gone kind of back and forth between her and some of the other girls. So I think it can go any way. I do feel Carla is next in line, then probably Marina. after that, me or Mackenzie. But, who knows? I go in there and knock out Mackenzie. Maybe I can fight for the next belt since, Marina has fought her and it went to decision. But if I went out there and I stopped her, I could, go out there and say, hey, I deserve the next title shot, once Carla and Rose fight. So I have no clue what's going to happen. But I feel like that top 5 is everybody, is fighting for it. They're all really great.
And as we talk about a logjam division, we know one thing for certain, that the road is going to go through Rose Namajunas, the current champion, a former opponent of yours, and now actually a very good friend of yours. You guys trained quite a bit there in Colorado. So just wanted to get your thoughts on Rose and her upcoming fight here as she gets ready to face Carlos Esparza in a rematch here in May.
Team Rose all the way. I think she's going to beat her up.
Yeah, Rose should open definitely as a big betting favorite, I would imagine, even though Carla does have a win over her, but that was so long ago, back when they fought for the inaugural strawweight championship. That was in 2014 or so. So I do want to ask you just how much you think an age difference is going to play a factor here, because Rose was so young and so raw when she fought Carla the first time, and now we've seen her grow and mature and just putting on clinics. She's on an absolute tear now. So just how big of a difference is it going to be this time around due to that now age difference here?
I mean, when they met, Rose was probably 22. I don't know how old she was. She was in her young 20s. I think she's 29 now or something. Yeah, she's a totally different fighter. Mentally she's grown. As a woman, she's grown. Her strength has grown. Yeah, she's a totally different fighter than that fight. All day, I say Rose wins the fight.
All right, well, now sticking with the fight game, I do want to get your thoughts on another upcoming fight here. Actually, going to be on your card at UFC 273. They just announced that Raquel Pennington will be on the card. I know you and Raquel have done this plenty of times here, fighting on a few cards. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that matchup. And Raquel taking the fight on short notice, too, right? Only about 14 days notice?
Oh, I'm excited for her. She's been working hard in the gym, and I thought she was working harder than she should have. But, I guess she wasn't, because she's ready to take this fight on 2 weeks' notice. It's pretty awesome. I think she's going to do well.
All right, Tecia, I do want to go outside the cage now. And this first thing I'm sure is going to be an emotional one to talk about. I do want to offer my condolences to you and your family. I know your grandmother just passed away a few months ago, back in November. I'm sure it's got to be very difficult on you every single day, and I can only imagine what it's got to be like now as you're getting ready to go out there and perform and have a fight, and how much that's kind of been weighing on you a little bit there. So just what's this been like emotionally like for you the last few months?
I'm definitely carrying it in there with me. November was a very tough month for me, all the way until January, because my dad was in the hospital for 2.5 months. So it was a rough time after my fight. So yeah, I'm slowly getting there.
I know it's very, very emotional, and you're talking there, right? How you lose your grandmother, your dad's really sick. There's so many factors that go into things, and I know the last time that we did an interview, you spoke a real lot about how big of a mental health advocate that you are and different things that you do with mental health. But I do want to, I guess, just ask this question again. I know it's a topic that we previously talked about, but just, I feel like a lot of fans don't hear these types of things or pay attention to these types of things. Like dealing what you're dealing through, that's takes a lot out of you. It's so draining from a mental standpoint. Just how important is mental health to an athlete, and you too personally, and how you handle all of this here and prepare for something that's so mentally difficult?
For me, 100%. During the time where I didn't do so well and I was on a little bit of a losing streak, I wasn't confident in myself at all. I was totally about my opponent. I thought the best of them and not in myself. So I've been seeing a sports psychologist, and he really has helped me become better as an athlete mentally. And that's what I need to believe in myself in order to attain the success that I have been having. But outside of just being an athlete, yes, mental health is very important to me. I'm somebody who suffers from depression and anxiety, and going through what I went through back in November, that was one of my lowest of lows. And I'm still, recovering from it. It's never gonna leave my heart. It's, one day at a time. It runs in waves. But I just try to stay positive. Every day isn't a great day for me, if I'm being honest. But most days are better than, not being better. if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense there. I totally understand where you're coming from. And again, my condolences to you and your family. And now we'll move on to a topic that's not as emotional on you there. So, you recently competed in a NPC competition in the bodybuilding world there. So, what made you want to do that? That's a crazy thing to do. I had a few friends that have competed in competitions like that, and just seeing what they went through with the specific diets and the water loads and the constantly being in the gym lifting weights and doing the spray tan. Like, so much goes into one of those competitions. It's a really hard thing to do. What made you want to do it, and what was that whole experience like?
Yeah, it's honestly been always been on my bucket list of things to do. Growing up, I've always been asked if I did bodybuilding competition just because of my physique, how it naturally was. So I said, yeah, one day I'll try it. And then I got injured after my last fight. I had surgery. So I knew I'd be out for at least a month. And I was like, I think I can do a show and, within like 12 weeks or something. So I found a coach and I signed up for the next show in October, and I think I had like 11 weeks to prepare. It was definitely something way different than fighting. The working out was fun. The dieting sucked. Being that lean is not sustainable. I can see why a lot of people end up having like eating disorders because you have to eat so little once you're like down at the end. It's not healthy. I'm sure there are healthier ways to do it, but the way I was told wasn't as healthy as I think it should have been. But yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again because it was a lot on me, and just afterwards with my weight and stuff like that, I didn't like what happened. But overall, it was a lot funner than I thought it would be. Walking in heels on a stage, that's very hard. I don't really like heels at all for the first place. But it was definitely a great experience, and all the women behind stage were really nice. I was worried if they were going to be catty, but there was a lot of people doing it for the first time. Yeah, it was a great experience, and I enjoyed it.
And now, going through all of that, would you ever consider doing one of those bodybuilding competitions like that ever again?
Possibly. We'll see. Not anytime soon, and probably not during my career.
All right, Tecia, it's been a pleasure as always. I really appreciate all the time you gave me here today. One last thing now before we roll out: social media management, sponsors, anyone you got to give a shout out to, please feel free to do so. Take it away.
Okay. All my social media is my name at Tecia Torres, and then people who support me a lot are SinFit Nutrition and Egg Weights, and a few meal plans that randomly send me things, so I won't plug anybody specifically. But yeah, just follow my journey. I'm always pretty open about everything.
All right, Tecia, thanks again so much for all the time here today, and to everybody that was watching today's interview. I really appreciate it. If you liked the interview, please go to the bottom, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And just as a friendly reminder, MyMMANews.com. Keep going to the website. Great content comes out there 7 days a week. We also have a great social media following as well, so go to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. Give us a like and a follow on there as well. We'll see you later, everybody.